Hey,
What's up, guys?
how you
Hey,
doing, Nick? Good to
Hey, Nick.
see you.
Good to see you as well. I'm doing well.
Good, good. We've been anticipating having you on the program. I know Justin came out to one of I think it was your FCC2 match that you played early on this season. Justin came out, got some clips of you, and so we've seen your face on the show earlier in the season. Glad to have you live tonight. So thanks for giving us your time and joining us.
No problem. No problem. My family's actually out in California right now, so I've got a free household, so I got
Okay.
time to do whatever.
oh,
Yeah, I know. I'm bacheloring it right now.
All right. All right. I think the first question we want to ask you is a question that's on everybody's mind, man. How is your rehab and everything like that going? That was a bad injury. We saw you go down. I know you've been working through it, had some surgery. How's all that going now?
Yeah, rehab is well, it's basically don't do much for 6 weeks. You have to let the rib heal. You can't really lift
mm,
anything. You can't really do too much. I can do a light bike like 10 minutes to get my lung capacity and try to get my lungs back, but right now we just test my lung capacity like every week, and then other than that, it's kind of like we have to wait for this rib to heal.
mm.
It's plated with a titanium plate, but the rib still underneath is broken, and you just for like pain's sake, we don't
Yeah.
want to make that worse.
Yeah. So you sent your family to California, so you didn't have to like run around and do anything and like do chores or whatever. You could just do
That's
what you
not
want and
what I
relax.
did. This is planned in the future, so it kind of like happened perfectly. Um, they had this planned out already, so and if unfortunately for me, I would have probably went with them, but with this injury, I can't fly for 6 weeks.
Oh wow.
So
Wow.
yeah,
Oh,
no submerging in water, no flying for 6 weeks. We don't want to
oh,
repop the lung.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I would have probably went with them, but driving to California from Cincinnati is just
Yeah.
not what I.
yeah, no, you wouldn't want to do that.
I'll
Nick,
take a quiet house for 4 days.
There
oh,
you go.
absolutely. Nick, you had the bad injury last season, and then you had to rehab from that. Now you've had this injury again. Um, what what was going through your mind in that moment when that happened to you? Like, was it kind of a oh no, not again, or did you not think it was as bad as it actually was?
Well, it's funny on the field. One first, as soon as the elbow hits me, I hear a crack, and I'm like, "Oh
Ooh.
no, this is not good." I was just hoping that like maybe my rib hit his elbow and made a weird sound, and I'm just like on the ground and I can't breathe. I just need to like catch my breath or whatever. Got the wind knocked out of me. But as I like tried to get up, I realized like there was serious pain, and as the trainers come out, they're like kind of asking me questions, and they're like, "Do you want the stretcher? Do you want the stretcher?" And I was like, "I've already been stretchered off this field one time. I'm not stretchering again. I promise. I'm not taking this stretcher." So then I get up and I'm about to walk off the field like towards the locker room, and the ref yells at me to go off the closest way. So then I have to turn around and walk and
no.
give him a little piece of my mind about that. Then I head over, and as I'm walking, like I realize like I really can't breathe at all. I'm like kind of like holding my chest together a little bit, and like the breath is like and like by the time I get to the end line, I'm like, I totally regret this. I'm starting to see stars a little bit. And this is probably one of the longest walks to the locker room in MLS.
Oh, really?
You have to go you go like into the locker room, and then you have to keep winding around the stadium.
Oh wow.
So yeah, it just kept getting worse.
Nick, the only way I can relate to that is my sophomore year of college. I was playing, and first practice, I went down. I saw my knee separate, and my lower leg hit the ground before my upper leg did. I screamed for a second, didn't feel any pain after I like let it set. And I was like, all right, I'm good. I got up, trainer, I got my arm around the trainer, walking off the field. And I look to my left and I see the coach, and I said, "Coach, give me 5 minutes. I'll be back." And out of this side of my eye, I saw the trainer shaking his head going, and that's when I started seeing stars. That's when I started feeling sick. Like I knew it was something more serious than I thought it was initially, but I never had the, collapsed lung, not able to breathe sort of thing. So that can be a scary moment, I think. I'll say this, when I saw that play happen, I even said something to our guys in our, group chat. I was like, I didn't see anything. Like, how did Nick go down? It just looked like they ran into each other until they showed the replay, and I was like, oh, that's why. Like, he's not a guy that's going to go down from just getting run into and then not get up. And so
for sure, I would never even try to like make that kind of like fake play to like stop a counterattack. I'm just getting up and I'm going back. I'm not.
We know it's not your style. That is not your style.
Not at all. Like if I could get up, I would get up. So it was unfortunate. Like as a soccer player, like looking at it, it's like this is a collision. This happens. Like it's unfortunate. Does he come in hard? Yes, of course. Am I trying to block him? Yes, of course. This is kind of a soccer play. Like Messi's. I was like the next Wednesday after the game, Busquets blocks a guy for Messi to get a shot at the top of the box and scores. If the Montreal defender blasts Busquets with an elbow, is it allowed or not allowed? Who knows what. It's ultimately like I'm kind of getting in the way of Latte La. He doesn't want me to get. He wants to obviously get through me. It's a soccer play, unfortunately.
Yeah. It happens. Those things are unfortunate. So I guess my question then is on that note, like, are there guys in the league that are like the most fun for you to match up with, or the toughest matchups, or are there anyone in the league that you're like, oh man, I hate going up against that guy?
Yeah, I think I really enjoy like going up against the big guys where I get to like where they think they're going to out muscle me and I'm going to try. It's kind of like a little like cat and mouse game of how things are going to go. I think the trickier guys are the ones that like quick feet. You're not sure where they're going to go, runs off the ball. Like you have to be constantly aware of where they are. And like, you can't really get an elbow or an arm into them because they're a little bit shorter than you, and that's probably like hitting them right in the face. You can't use your hands too much. I think those guys are the guys that probably give me the most trouble. But the bigger guys, I feel like I get an opportunity to use my physicality.
So you're not upset you missed the game against Lucho? The next,
no, I am sad. I wanted to see Lucha. Like the way it went down.
Of course.
I would have liked to see him. This is a guy that we won championships with.
Absolutely.
This is a guy that was in the locker room who we battled together. We saw the worst of things and saw the best of things. And so this is a guy I would have liked to see again. And obviously going up against him is kind of a fun challenge. I kind of know what he's going to do. He kind of knows what I'm going to do. Yeah. It's just like it's like going up against Brandon. It's just a fun battle. Like at the end of the day.
Yeah. He's just that short, shifty guy that you just said, like, I don't know about these guys, but Lucho, you just never know what.
For sure. I feel like that's where I'm watching the tape, where I go and watch a lot of tape, and I'm trying to see like what's their tendencies, what foot are they going to, what's their like kind of go-to move, or if the ball's coming from the right side, what foot are they going to take it? Ball's coming from the left side, what foot are they going to take the ball there? And kind of like have an idea of what their natural tendency is and what they want to do, and try to be prepared for it. Because these guys that are good, they're going to get there. They're going to get. It's like Iron Robin, his left foot, he's going to get to his left foot. Sometimes it's like maybe you let him get to his left foot, but you're going to be there in a position that's, advantageous to you, rather than trying to be like, you're never going to get to your left foot, and they still get there,
That's a good point. And I'm going to kind of go off script because I do want to ask this question because, you're a veteran. You've been in this league for a long time. You've been with FC Cincinnati for a while. And when you bring in new guys to a team and you're getting ready to scout, is that something you're talking about on the pitch? Like, hey, watch this guy in the wing. He likes to go left. He likes to go right. Like, what is the communication like between the guys in the back line during a match?
Yeah, I think like if there's new guys on the team that haven't gone up against certain strikers or certain wingers or whatever, I like to give little tidbits of what I think I've seen. And that I don't want to be in my defender's head, because I want them to feel the game and be confident in what they are doing, but just be like, hey, here's some things that you might want to think about, and ultimately let him make the choice himself, but offer up some advice that I've seen in the past. Say like an attacker like Ure from Philadelphia. He doesn't want it to his feet. He wants to run in behind. He's one of those players that like really wants to use his speed and physicality. And he's fast enough that he's going to get in behind if you're not prepared to have your body shifted and ready to make that run back. So kind of guys that where you see the same tendencies over and over again. That's you kind of give those little tidbits to new guys on the team.
I'm going to jump in, Jason. I know you had another question. I want to jump in on that note too, because I just wonder, like, as you go up against guys that may be faster, right? Some of these strikers in the league are some of the fastest players in the league. So as you go up against the guys like Alate Lath or someone else that is just a speed demon on the field, right? It's a lot about positioning. And I think that's probably what it came down to in some of the play that we saw, right? You saw him coming, you got in his, from my angle, like watching on TV, like you were just trying to get in his way to stop him from getting to the ball. What is it like? How do you adjust to playing against some of these guys that are as fast as they are and can take the lid off of defenses with just a run straight down the field?
Yeah, I think a lot of it's about positioning, but I also think it's about the pressure that's on the ball. And I think what we try to do a lot is get pressure on the ball, get guys' heads down, because the more they get their heads down, the less time there is for movements. There's less time for someone to make a run, which I think is what we always try to do. Try to get a defender's head down so it makes it more it makes it easy the game. But when say no, there's no pressure on the ball, and you got a guy that can speed beam, it's like you got to give position to him. You got to respect his ability to run past you. And I feel like for me this year, one thing that I think I am probably not feeling as athletic after my ankle injury is that I can't rely on my athleticism, so my positioning has to be great. And I think it's actually helped me like see the game and read the game a little bit. Where instead I'm going like right through it, and I'm going to try and win this ball, and maybe I don't. I feel like this time I'd be like, okay, I'm going to respect it. I'm going to drop all the way back to the 18. And I'm going to defend you 1v1, and we'll see what happens. And I think sometimes my game has evolved a little bit this year.
How important is the relationship between the guys on the back line to being successful, knowing that a guy like Miazga or Miles Robinson is going to be in the position that you expect them to be in?
Oh, huge. I mean, I'm taking up positions knowing that I have someone in a specific position. You know, if I shift out, say the winger is way on the touch line, and I shift out on the touch line, but I still have a striker on my left shoulder, say I'm playing a right center back, and if I don't trust that Matt is going to shift across, then I'm making a huge gap for them to play a ball straight down the gut. You know, I have to trust that if I'm shifting, these guys are going to be shifting with me, and kind of, you know, the same thing. If they go if Miles goes out to the left, I need to shift and cover Matt. Matt has to cover Miles, and knowing that they're going to be there allows me to go get even tighter to the guy I'm trying to get the ball from.
So that, I mean, that kind of raises a question. So, you know, obviously you've talked about the importance of partnerships and how you all play with each other and the system. Is there a particular, let's call it style that Pat Noonan uses when you're doing training sessions, you know, without giving away the secrets or whatnot? Are there things that he does during your training sessions that would maybe surprise us? Because, you know, we see the public Pat Noonan, the press conferences. I mean, are there just some things that happen during training sessions that you may look forward to, and others that you might say, "Oh no, he's going to do this"?
Sorry, could you repeat the question real quick? Because I was really out of battery. I was freaking out.
Yeah, I mean, we
I had to change my mic. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, what I was asking is, during training sessions, are there things that Pat Noonan does that you'll say, okay, we're really looking forward to this, and others you say, oh no, he's going to do this, man. Well, what is this? What's going on now? Just part of his style, if you will.
I don't ever think like there's a day that I'm like, oh man. I mean, Wednesdays is our day that we do like a lot of transition. And you know you're going to be put in like a block of three with maybe one defensive mid in front of you, and you're going to have like 5-6 attackers come at you, and your job is to stop the ball.
Okay.
For me, I'm a defender, so I love that. I love the opportunity to like put my body on the line and whatnot. So, but those days you're going to be tired. At the end of the day, you kind of at the end of every practice, they will do an RPE, which kind of like is the the measure of how hard training is. You give a rating 1 through 10, and usually on Wednesdays people give in 7s and 8s rather than the rest of the week is kind of like 4s and 5s.
Okay.
So I would say that's the day that you feel like you're gonna get the most intensity out of it. But I would say Pat is pretty regimented in his trainings, and that week to week he's trying to see the similar things. I think if you on a Red Bulls week, you might see things closed in a little bit more. It's going to be chaotic, and you'll find that training looks a little bit like a Red Bulls game. If we want a more emphasis on saying, our passing patterns, then maybe we'll start practice with some just basic patterns that he wants to see against the defense for the week. So yeah, it depends. A lot of it depends on the opponent that we're coming up against.
Okay, that makes sense.
He has a very he likes a 4-day build. You're going to get your Wednesday hard day. Tuesday is going to be an introduction session where it's going to kind of intro the things that he wants to see. Thursday's game plan. Friday's just prepare and get going.
And is there anything different that happens when there is a hell is real game? I know it's a game. It's another team. You have to prepare for them. But is there anything different in terms of getting that mentality ready for that game?
Yeah, I think there's just a little extra, I don't know, there's a little extra tickle in training that everyone's getting ready for something that's a little, I don't even know how to explain it. It's almost like butterflies in your stomach.
Mm-hmm.
But you're I know that this game has more, it's like getting ready for a playoff game, basically.
Yeah.
That this game has a little bit more importance to it than, and I think Pat does a good job of setting the tone early. He's I don't want to, this is a good team. Sure. I want you guys to understand that this is another game, but this is also Columbus, and this is, we are Cincinnati, and this game means more to the fans in this city and to this city than it does than any other game on the regular season. And so he kind of sets the tone that way, and I think the guys feel that. And as we go through training, you can tell that the intensity ramps up a little bit.
Does that game mean a little bit more to you personally than maybe any other player on the squad?
Sure. For sure.
That's the right answer. That's the right answer. That's what
I want to get the best of Columbus no matter what. It's funny because they could have drafted me. They chose not to. They had an opportunity. They didn't draft me.
There's even more. There's even more
reason.
I played for the crew U19 and U20 team. There was no team in Cincinnati, so there's no blame here. But I would drive 2 hours every summer, and I played for them. They knew who I was. They knew what I was about, and they decided to not pick me. So I will always hold that against them.
Because you had some...
But, as a Cincinnati boy, we have a team. We got to win this game. For the people in Cincinnati, it's kind of like Xavier UC.
Yeah.
You walk around town a little bit. When you win the game, Cincinnati's blue, not red. And you kind of see each other when you see each other, say in the off season or other things like that. When you run into each other at players union events or anything like that, when you get the best of, the other team, it's kind of like a one up. Or you get to social media, everyone's Ohio is orange and blue. I love that. That means a lot to me. I want Ohio to always be orange and blue.
Nick, I got to ask you, I worked in athletics at Xavier when you were a student athlete there in. And so I remember seeing you play there. When UC dropped their men's soccer program, did you feel some kind of way about that since you had that rivalry, the crosstown derby with UC?
Yeah, I feel like I was sad for the guys because it's such a fun game. But also, it kind of felt like Xavier won the real battle. They couldn't compete anymore. They just gave up. I know that's not the case, but
that's the kind of answer we'd love to hear, though.
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think we lost Jose there for a second. His camera feed went out. I think he'll join us here in a second. Nick, I wanted to ask you too. You've lived through several of these big injuries, right? I think you joked about your annual, trip to the hospital at this last time. as we watch, right, as fans, and we may be full of it, right? I don't know. We've got the luxury of not training like you guys do and not playing like you guys do and just watching and giving our opinions. But when we see guys like you go down and Matt Miazga go down, especially last season, it seemed to us, we talked a lot last season about leadership in the back that was missing. And as I hear you talk tonight, you talk about, I don't want to give my defenders, a preconceived notion. I want them to react, right? So you talk even as a leader on that back line. When a guy like yourself or Miazga go down, or Miles Robinson, or whoever it is on that back line, how much is lost in that, like the vocal leadership on the field and maybe the trust and the partnerships that changes and shifts the game?
Yeah, I think when your center backs go down, it's difficult because they see the whole game. They're communicating to everyone in the hard moments, in the good moments. I think getting the right feel for the game beforehand to give your guys confidence. I feel like attackers are always thinking about trying to score, and they're thinking, like, it doesn't matter how many mistakes they make, really. They're like just trying to score. And if they get that one, that's awesome. And I think sometimes for other players around the field, they can easily get like frustrated or by mistakes, or if they're not scoring, then they can get frustrated. And I feel like the backbone of the team, the center backs, it's their job to like be like, I'm going to hold this all together as long as possible for us to get this win. And being able to communicate that, encourage each other. Like, I wouldn't say – there are attackers that are encouraging, but for the most part, they get mad when they don't score.
Right.
And that's okay. I like that passion. I like that aggression. I like that kind of chutzpah about attackers. Like, they want to put the ball in the back of the net. They're upset that they're not. But for center backs, we're often people that want to encourage the guys to keep their head up, keep going one after one. Like, don't worry if you mess up. We're going to be back here to hold it together. And so when you have people go down and you're missing different people, I feel like sometimes that affects the whole group a little bit in that way.
Yeah.
Nick, I know Jose wanted to ask this about your like getting ready for a game. I know some athletes have a very specific thing that they have to do. They have to eat a certain meal, listen to a certain song, wear a certain pair of socks. Do you have like a pre-game ritual that you never steer clear of, or are you more loosey-goosey when it comes to like getting ready for match day?
That's funny. I used to be super like stringent on I need to have rice or I need to have pasta with chicken. It needs to be red sauce. I need to eat at like 10 o'clock breakfast. It needs to be an omelet, and then 2 o'clock have my pregame meal. I had to have a specific like socks on. That was like a lucky pair of socks. And then I had kids and everything went out the window, and I was like, I can't control everything. And honestly, it was a good thing for me because I feel like I was so focused on my superstitions that it would take away from my game. It was only when I had no ability, like I had to take care of my kids and make sure that they're okay and be a dad still. And I realized that, I can not eat chicken at this time. I can eat a Jimmy John's sandwich before and still play good. That's not always a Jimmy John's, but, Jersey Mike's or just a regular sandwich or, pasta and chicken from somewhere else other than a normal place. I feel like that helped me realize, like, you don't need all these different superstitions. Like, you're a great player. You've been doing this for a while. You can do this without these superstitions, which kind of gives me a little bit more, I don't know, freeing. You feel like you're playing freely. And I feel like that was actually a helpful thing, having kids and realizing you didn't have to do these things. For me, the one thing that I do have that does happen every time, I do feel like I'm going to throw up every game. And throughout the day, this is every game. This is like 250 games. I feel like all day. I don't know what it is. I don't know. I know that Josh Allen has said that he throws up every game, but I get these nerves. I don't know if it's nerves. It's like I'm not really nervous, but there's like it means something to me. Like when I step on the field, like I feel nervous because there's an opportunity that I might lose my spot. There's an opportunity that I could make a mistake, and I want to be ready for that. I could let my team down. I don't want that to happen. And so there's all these little emotions that I feel in the I don't know, during the day. As soon as I get out to warm-ups, that's all gone, disappears. Yeah. But as the day's going on, the closer I get to going to the stadium, I feel like I'm going to throw up.
Yeah. I think that's encouraging. Hopefully that's encouraging for young athletes to hear that do get nervous, feel that sense of anxiety. Like, why am I nervous for this game? That, it is even in the pro ranks that I've heard other guys talk about that too, right? Like I love that you said it's because it means something to you. You're putting your life on the line every week, game in, game out, for your team. And we appreciate that as fans. We love the way you play, the way you go out, and the way you give yourself for your team. I did want to throw a comment up here talking about being a father. That does change things. We had a comment earlier from our own Justin Blair. He says, speaks for all Cincinnati, saying Nick's the best thing that could happen to this team this year. You're an incredible player, infectious joy, an amazing father and husband. We're all rooting for you. I think we're all behind you, Nick. You mean a lot to this team. You mean a lot to this fan base. You obviously mean a lot to this team, your leadership, the extended contract you got beginning of the season, right? Like, this team wants you to be here. And I think it speaks a lot to your character, your passion for the game, and your leadership of the team. So thank you for all you do for this team, for the fan base. We love watching you. We're rooting for you. And you got a spot here at Cincinnati Soccer Talk anytime you want to come back and join us.
Thank you. I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you for having me on today.
Absolutely. Thanks, Nick, for joining us.
Sorry for the technical glitch. Thank you for being
on the show.
That's all right.
See ya.
Thank you. See you guys.